Hi Leo, welcome to your end of January 2020 tarot update. It's Rena here. I just want to I don't know, do something a little bit different. Oh boy, I hope these cards aren't all upside down, because then I have my own little rule that I employ, but it looks like I'm gonna be okay. Okay, and we're going to pick a additional card. I had this happen where the last card was a card that was in the reverse position. I just don't like to end that way because I want to end with forward motion. Although you got to be careful, because some reverse cards are actually more positive and kind of like breaking free from something than the than the reversed. I mean, than the upright. The heart of the matter is the Wheel of Fortune. So you may be feeling a bit of misalignment lately in some way, Leo. I think that everyone may, in one way or the other, because of the eclipses, because it hasn't really been until this eclipse of Cancer the other day that we really had all the planets direct and that sense of forward movement, the holidays and all that stuff. So it does feel to me that things are starting to pick up. And so if you feel like you're kind of running behind in your life, things aren't clicking, it may, it's temporary. I don't have to say it may be temporary, it is temporary. We'll keep going because that's not really giving us much information. In the past position, we have the Eight of Pentacles. So for instance, on the job, you may have been doing your part. You may have been trying to get extra training. You may have been trying to do a good job on the job, and that sense of like never being able to make it happen. Leo is a sign that is always looking to ascend and excel, and you're a natural leader if you are well balanced. That is, if everything is like, if you know exactly what your place is and you're not trying to overstep your boundaries, I think you can be one of the most well balanced and just positive type of person. And so, but you're human, and the Wheel of Fortune, the whole idea of the Wheel of Fortune is that it's a wheel, so it cycles. And sometimes with cycles, there's a sense of feeling like you're not quite gelling with things that you're doing. You're going to have a full moon. I think it's like February 9th. Don't quote me on that. And I wouldn't be surprised if that kind of is that finality of that cycle that you have been dealing with. The higher message is the Tower card. So if there was some kind of shocking circumstance that kind of took a little bit out of you, and this may have even been a couple years ago when you were going through your eclipses, the way that Cancer and Capricorn are going through right now, you might have felt like you got knocked, kicked to the curb or knocked around a little bit, and perhaps you still haven't fully recovered, from some of those events that were beyond your control. And for Leo, having something beyond your control can feel very uncomfortable, because you're a fixed sign and you tend to want life to be very, predictable. And whereas some people like me, when I hear the word predictable, I think, oh my gosh, that sounds terrible. For you, it's a sense of order. It's a sense of being able to call the shots and not have to kind of react to something that's outside of yourself. And that can feel really calming to you, because you really want that sort of, you know, what can I call it? You want those, you want that the ability to deal with life on your own terms. And you know, but the thing that you have to understand, and this may be, because this is supposed to be the higher message, the Tower card, is to understand that that is part of life, is that you can only control your end of things. And with the Eight of Pentacles, if you have really worked your butt off doing something and you've trained for something, and then it seems like that opportunity slips through your fingers, or somebody else gets the job, or whatever thing is going on, or if it's a personal relationship you tried very hard to make it work and it never seemed to be good enough, is understanding that it's not about those outer things. It's always about yourself, and you know, going through life as kind of this traveler that is picking up wisdom, and not somebody that's trying to lead a safe life that has nothing, has no growth opportunities. The Wheel of Fortune in the challenge position can also mean to me that you're right there, you're almost there. You know, I almost saw it when I was just looking at it right now. I was looking at the Tower card and I was thinking of somebody who hits it big. You know what I mean? Like, I think of Leo as the performer, and you have somebody who is on stage and they're obscure, and then all of a sudden lightning strikes, and this person is called an overnight sensation, and nobody knows that this person has been working in the theater day after day after day, and you know, they get a what we would call a lucky break, and then they're known, you know, they're famous or something like that. But it's not always an overnight success. It may seem like that, but it's something that has been prepared for. And so luck is also, I guess that's what I would say too, is like, what is the nature of luck? Is it, do you make your own luck? And I think the Eight of Pentacles is like making your own luck, kind of. You're working hard, doing what you love, doing something with intention behind it, and then striking it big. But if you're like hard at work and doing something that you really don't feel aligned with, that could be problematic too. And the Tower can be like, you know, something has to give. You can't just keep doing these things that don't matter to you. What crosses you is the Empress card, and it's funny because I just got that. What sign was it? I think it was Virgo. So that would be funny if, you know, and there were cards that were for Leo, I think. Boy, I wonder if you have been dealing with a Virgo individual. But the Empress in the challenge position is about, I would call it toxic femininity, but also, because I don't see this as first and foremost a relationship reading. I see this more in the career sector. The Empress is connected to Venus and pleasure, but there's like that, and maybe what this is about is when people let off steam, and you know that phrase, work hard, play hard. I can see Leos kind of falling into that, what I call a trap of working hard and playing hard, because Leo can be a workaholic, definitely hardworking, and the problem is that sometimes when people get into that groove where they're working hard, they feel like they need to be kind of like what do you call it, like rewarded for their hard work, so they are being very self-indulgent. But they wouldn't have to be that way if they loved what they did. In other words, there's some kind of emptiness that some people feel that causes them to need to have that kind of release. And I'm talking about like getting drunk, having one night stands, doing things. We're not looking at it from the morality standpoint at all. It's all about how does a person behave when they feel like they are free in life. When you're free in life, you don't even really need to go to a vacation because you feel like every day is a vacation to you. But a lot of people get caught up in that trap of working like long hours and then saying, oh, I have to go on a vacation. So they go on a vacation, but it only lasts a week usually. And then they're right back into that grind. And there's not this sense of life kind of unfolding for them. It's just, just being... The Eight of Pentacles doesn't have to be like you're just a workaholic. It may be a labor of love, actually. But that's the thing. That's saying, if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. And also the Empress in the challenge position can be can you say over love? An excessive love of luxury. And guess what? Luxury doesn't come cheap. And that can, when somebody is into that, then they create this need for those kinds of items. Then we have what's coming in, the Two of Wands in reverse. And this may be, you may be at a crossroads, and this could be career-wise. And this may even be the kind of work that you do. But something is happening where you're blocking this. Maybe you don't want to think about it. You don't want to have to make that decision. And that affects your ability to move ahead in life. Just like with that Wheel of Fortune in reverse. These are interesting. These two cards are reversed because that can mean that it's creating an inability to really push forward. And then for the outcome, we have the Knight of Pentacles in reverse. It's funny that I did get the Knight of Pentacles because this is a card that is associated with Taurus. And I suppose that if you're dealing with a Taurus person, it could be just showing that the relationship is setting you back. It's not helping you. But the Knight of Pentacles in the upright position is somebody who is very diligent about their work habits, and they've got a good work ethic. They have this sense of like, this is, they're on a mission to earn money, to save money. Maybe there's a special goal, or they just are that type of person. I think that Leos fit that bill. But in the reversed position, sometimes there can be money management issues, but I also think, as I understand, this card can also mean somebody that is the opposite of that. Kind of lazy, or, not willing to do what it takes. So I don't know if this is the person that you're dealing with, and the problem is it's like you have to kind of pick up the slack. But if this is you, I could also see that perhaps what is this is the difference between having a good work ethic and workaholism, where the person just takes it overboard. And maybe it is because you are a spendthrift, and so you need to make a lot of money because you spend a lot of money and things like that. But I did pick an additional card because I don't like to end with the reversed cards in that way. And guess what I got? The Six of Wands, which is connected to Leo. And this is a card of taking your bow, of being recognized for your excellence, okay? But also, I think on the personal level, even though this is supposed to be an outcome card, excuse me, I think of it also as kind of, I don't know, I wouldn't say an admonition to you, but just this idea of you actually making space for yourself in terms of honoring yourself, of really seeing how wonderful you are and how you're able to, how successful you are, how talented you are. Leos get a bit of a bad rap for being narcissists. And while, first of all, any sign can be a narcissist, but while it is true that there are certain traits of imbalanced Leos that one might think kind of connect with narcissism, there's also the truth that when you're, for instance, if you're working very hard, you're not giving yourself, it's like you're not honoring your need for doing other things. And it's almost like you still feel like you have to earn respect, instead of knowing that you are good no matter what. You do not have any need to prove yourself to anybody. And there are going to be Leos who feel like that they need to prove themselves. And that is the thing. It's like resting on your laurels, so to speak. But this is really about taking your bow and acknowledging a job well done, and success is at hand. So that's what I have for you, Leo. I hope that you enjoyed this. If you'd like a personal reading, the link to my website is below. Take care. Bye.